Hello, folks. Here we are. Found a somewhat representable shirt and a pair of shorts. Weather's getting a little bit better out there now. Nice warm days. But that's not why you're here. You're not here for a weather report. You're here for the Disability Report of Ontario. Uh, this is the Disability Chronicles. The first two episodes kind of worked out a little bit. Third episode did not work out. Something to do with a microphone glitch. So it wasn't very appetizing or useful. Um, the ODSP minister's office has proceeded to block my phone number and not take my calls. If I call from another number, as soon as they realize who I am, they hang up. Um, I've gone through my worker. I've gone through the member of parliament that I was supposed to, Jamie West. Uh, and that's led me to 6 months worth of starving myself, 10 days out of the month, which not easy. So my worker refuses to do anything. The head of the Sudbury office refuses to do anything. Jamie's West office, I don't know if he's doing anything because they really don't tell you if they're doing anything, especially when you're not having a good day that day and you're hungry and you end up being very angry and mouthy. That's where we're at. Unfortunately, I have a hard time dealing with people right now. I do get quite mouthy. I do get quite sarcastic and cynicism, and you know, um, I've been at this for over 10 years. Uh, Even 10 years ago, I was fighting to double the check. I've been fighting to double it probably since like my third year of being on disability. Um, you know, you get sick of living at the bottom and you try to make your way multiple different ways. Let's see. I've tried selling drugs to make ends meet. Um, I've tried. Well, no, I successfully used speed pills here in Sudbury, $3 speed pills off the street to subvert needing groceries for months at a time. I used to walk around and play Pokemon Go or Pokemon whatever. I actually had the nickname Pokemon because all my friends would see me out there walking the streets in the middle of the night hitting Pokestops. Um, you know, I've had quite the history on ODSP, like from selling weed to helping sell speed pills to helping do all kinds of shit for money. It was never very strenuous. It was never really a job. It was something we end up doing. So, how do people end up fenny addicts? Well, they probably start out with like pot and alcohol and, you know, fixed incomes, and they probably do all right at first until shit starts getting more expensive and starts getting more tough. And then one day they start doing speed pills like I did, and they just never stop the ladder. They just keep doing different types of drugs. I've done more drugs than just pot and speed. In my stint on ODSP and in my many depressions, I've done the purple crystal fucking meth shit. I don't even know what it is. I've done the fucking, crack cocaine. I'm not gonna hide it. This is the kind of shit that happens on ODSP. This is the kind of shit that happens to people who have, more problems up here than they do down here. Even though I have the hip of, I can't even equate it to an age anymore. It's bone on bone. It's grinding the bone so badly that eventually it'll just grind away to the point where I probably won't be in as much pain as I am now. But if I sit down, the hip the hip socket on the femur rides up into the side of my hip. Basically, it becomes lodged. So when I stand back up, I physically have to use my leg muscles and tendons to pull the two bones apart and back into like the softer spot where it's not hung up. So, my worker asks me, can I go to a food bank? I do find that quite offensive. And I find it quite offensive that anybody would suggest that I go to a food bank. Um, I'm not supposed to be going to food banks. That's not what the disability program is. That's not what the spirit of the program is for. The spirit of the program was to take care of us. So eventually we could fix ourselves in some small way to become part of society again. But there's no time to fix yourself when you're starving. There's no time to fix yourself when you're battling for groceries. There's no time to fix yourself when you're fucking depressed and you spend 3 weeks laying in your bed wishing that there was some magic way out. You know, for those of us who have a self preservation instinct, bar none, there is no word such as suicide. It does not exist. To us, it's just something other people do that we would never have the guts or balls to do. Because there's one thing we know we enjoy, it's life. Even when we're not the ones getting to live it, we still have enough chutzpah to stick through. You know, we're the ones, when we lose a friend to suicide, it fucking hurts the most. Because we would have done anything to save them. We're probably the ones that would do anything to save anyone. But that never makes us rich. That never makes us helpful. Because how can we save anyone when we don't even have the ability to save ourselves? The Ontario Disability Support Program has been a blight on my existence since the very day I got on the program. Because it's never been quite enough. But back then, it was manageable. Because you could feed yourself. You could clothe yourself. You could do one or two happy things a month. So it wasn't so bad. It was like having your favorite TV show once a month to look forward to. Poof, it's gone. The last 5 years of COVID, bullshit, riots, wars, everything that's gone on has made it so disability doesn't exist. I try to complain on Facebook, like to government officials' Facebooks, and I get people telling me to go kill myself with the fucking MAID program. And then I'm expected to deal with all of you people and your harsh comments on a daily basis. Even just stupid comments lately have been setting me off to the point where, I get really offended. You think gas prices have gotten hard for you? Try not being able to afford a vehicle in the first place ever. Oh, home prices got you down? I'll never be able to afford a home. Good apartments? Most people on ODSP don't get good apartments unless they meet a gem of a landlord. We get hand-me-downs or anything we can afford, rooms in other people's houses, because that's pretty much what Sudbury has to offer for the, meager amount of 563 that we get for rent. If you were really to say, I'm not spending a dime over what they give me for rent, you are lucky if you get a room in someone else's house. You might end up with a family member on room and board. You might end up, God knows where you might end up if you actually went by that 563. Most of us are taking half of our basic needs and ramming that into rent. I can put my hand up on that one. I pay $9.53. Leaves me $350 to work with for my 3 cats, which used to be 4 cats, but now it's 3 cats. Hopefully it's going to be 2 cats and then 1 cat. Because, the $50 raise really didn't save my bacon here. I ended up with 4 pets by a pretty shitty circumstance, to say the least. Really, I should have one cat. But, promises aren't something to keep in this world for most people. So, that's my situation. I routinely end up with bags of trash hanging around for much longer than they should because we're allowed to take out 2 bags every 2 weeks. Every additional bag is $3. So, in my city, don't even have the right to get rid of my own waste. Now it's a paid fucking privilege. Screw people on ODSP more, because that's just what we need. We have grocery store CEOs saying, "Oh, you're not hurting our profits a bit." That's because we stopped shopping at your fucking store 3 years ago. The only people still shopping at certain stores are people that can afford to. And people that can afford to don't have to give the shit about the rest of us. I hear my worker, I hear the secretary or whatever she is, the person who answers the phone at the minister's office say they care. But when you actually ask them to do something about that caring, like make a video like this, the caring stops. I ask my worker to write a letter on how hard it is for the recipients of ODSP, the caring stops. I ask my government officials who say they care about ODSP and want it doubled to actually do something about it. The caring stops. I'd have a better luck right now appeasing to truckers to do something on my behalf than any government official out there. You know what? You guys are the ones driving those trucks of food. So if the price don't start coming down, maybe those trucks should stop. Maybe they should stop in every town and city along the way, and shit should just go missing. Because the grocery stores definitely don't deserve it. Coming from someone who hasn't had breakfast in 6 months, fuck them. Fuck the grocery stores. Fuck the politicians. Fuck everyone who looks down upon me. Because even though I am fucking disabled, I am still supposed to be your goddamn equal. This isn't about pity. This is about fairness. I want my breakfast back. I want my lunch back. I want the ability to buy at least one fucking shirt, one pair of pants, and one fucking measly pair of socks a month. And maybe once a year, a clothing allowance again, which has been taken away for winter clothing. I don't care if it's every 4 fucking years. As long as it's enough to buy one winter jacket, one pair of thermal underwear, and one pair of goddamn boots, I don't care. And I would just like enough money to eat, please. And a fair shake on rent. I don't care if our rent is based off the bare minimum of a bachelor, because that's a hell of a lot more than $568 or $586, whatever my dialectic fucking seeing ass, you know, makes out of letters and words. So yeah, I've come up with a new terminology for the way I see letters and words. Dialectic. I see the first little die there, the second little die, and there's a big leap in between. Dialectic. I don't even know if I'm using that word right or if that word ever existed. But hey, that's the kind of place we're at. Because I got to make up new phrases and terminology all the fucking time to explain the shit going on with disability. You know, Honestly, you want your politicians to start doing what they're supposed to do? Well, figure out what they're supposed to do, and then figure out what person in society represents that the most, and put one of those people in their goddamn office. A point of retrospective communication history of the actual goddamn problem. You know, I think the disability minister needs a couple disabled poor people working with him right now. You know, I think their voices need to be heard more than his. Because he's going home to eat steak. He's going home to a beautiful home. He drives in his beautiful car. He's got all of his nice shit. When I'm in a room filled with trash, a literal room filled with fucking trash. And even if I got a trash bag and I put it in the trash bag and I tie up the trash bag, I still can't afford to take the fucking trash bag out on trash day. I can't afford more than 10 to 18 meals a month, which is usually one giant meal slapped into little baggies and frozen up. Because if I try to make multiple meals, the math, she don't work out. Milk, thing of the past. Eggs, thing of the past. Can't afford to get depressed and let anything go bad. Happiness, thing of the past. Mental stability, thing of the fucking past. You know, I, short of hammering nails, I don't know what to do here. Because society don't give two shits. The government don't give two shits. Anyone and everyone I've pleaded and asked for help don't give two shits. I'm fucking wasting away. I'm so sick of disability asking me to ask my family for help. I've told all my family to go fuck themselves. I've told all my friends to go fuck themselves. My Facebook is a very sparse fucking ghost town. I don't have a phone. I no longer have an outside communication line of a phone. I had text now on a cell phone, screen kaputskied. I can't afford fucking $80 to $150 to replace a cell phone screen. I can't even afford fucking the world's cheapest cell phone. I don't know where the fuck this leaves me. You know, I've been looking at some of this plastic waste, wondering, how fucking toxic would it be if I actually turned this into some sort of edible compound? Well, put some air quotations around the word edible. Probably toxic. You know, that's you know. I've even sat here one night last month and thought to myself, how bad would it really be if I ate cat food? Shit's $20 a bag. Hell of a lot more in a bag of cat food than anything else in that damn grocery store. Seems like the cats get to eat like fucking kings. I gotta ask myself at what point this turns into a psychosis or, you know, pathological rage. I have to ask myself what the fuck is going on a daily basis. And I call and call and call. I send email after email after email. One day I sat here sending emails to every Canadian member of parliament. Big fucking batch emails that I found online. 60% of them didn't work. Filled up my email box to the point where I couldn't receive emails. And actually lost a bunch of emails in the process. One of those emails turned out to be very, very fucking important that I never got until, a few days after something arrived at my fucking door, but we're not even going to mention any of that. I've got 5 little bags of chili left in my freezer. some very freezer burnt pierogies, a little container of margarine, some sugar, and some instant coffee, which tastes horrible. How dare people even make some instant coffees? They should just be banned because those were originally coffee beans and you just ruined them. So, yeah, ruining coffee beans. Not something I would do to make instant coffee. um, I'm depressed. Very, very depressed. It feels like in a world of 8 billion people, there's not a single soul that truly has my back. There's no bunch of truckers driving on Ottawa for the disabled. There's no, Ontario push by our citizens to get a fair treatment for the disabled. There's no walkouts. There's no strikes. There's nothing. The most we get is people putting on a fake smile, lying through their teeth, saying, "We care about people on disabled. We want to see your check doubled." Womp 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 womp. This is exactly what it is. We're the little children on fucking Charlie Brown, and every single bastard in the entire society of Canada that says they care is nothing more than one of those fucking adults that you never get to see their face going womp 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 womp, because there's not an ounce of action behind it. Caring is not done with a person's voice. Unless you're a goddamn poet and you can string together words that'll make women fawn over, you cannot care with your voice. You have no talent to care with your voice. Caring with your voice is one of the incredibly most hard things to do in this world. There are people out there that can do poetry, with their words. There are people out there that can do it with their songs. There are people out there that can do it. But you, the average person that just says, "I care about people on disability," that's not caring. Those are a reflection of your feelings. You feel for people on disability. You don't care. Caring isn't words. Caring are actions. Caring is standing up and saying, "You know what, I'm not going to stand for this anymore." Caring is picking up the phone and calling your government and saying, "If you don't do something about this, my tax money doesn't come in at the end of the year. I'll gladly go to jail over this." Caring is acting on it, doing something actively about it. To care for someone is a physical action. If I worked in one of the homes for hospice and I just sat there and literally did nothing and I just said, "I care for you," that's not caring. Caring is helping the person, making their food, sitting with them, talking with them, being with them, making things easier. That is caring. Saying you care and then not willing to do anything about it is the opposite of caring. You feel bad, so you're going to try to say something to make it seem like you've done something when you haven't. It's the absolute opposite of caring. If you hear my story and your first reaction is to go, "Aw," that's not caring. It's a reflection of your emotion, not care. Saying you feel for someone, that's not caring. That's you feel for them. You can't say you care. There's no point. You're not willing to do anything you don't really care. It's less than caring, the opposite of caring. You are reflecting the emotion into a string of words that mean nothing. Maybe you're trying to make someone feel better, but it's the equivalent to spitting in my face. Because people who actually deeply care because their feelings made them deeply care do something about it. Sometimes words can be caring, but you have to know what your words have actually done. Because you can tell me you care, it's not going to make me feel better. Knowing that some person out there simply cares hasn't really made anything easier, therefore is not really care. If you want to do something, then do it. But just simply saying you care, no. No. That's that is nothing. In the grand scheme of things, that is absolutely nothing. You have not cared one single bit. You have not acted upon it. You have not taken physical action. Even most of you with your voice or written word. Asking my worker to actually do something is a something just too much. It stops. Asking the secretary at the office to actually physically do something. No, that's where it stops. Asking my fellow Canadians to actually do something. Again, that's where it stops. Uh, so you know what? I got no sympathy when people break into your cars. I got no sympathy for the drug addicts going around doing all that shit. Because, you know, I can't do anything about it. I can't actually care about them stealing from your cars because I can't do anything about it. I personally don't do it. I stopped that shit when I was like 17 in the group home. Well, that was behavior of a child. So I can't really care about you or your society right now. I can't care about anything that's going on that doesn't physically interfere with me. And that's pretty sad. I walk around angry, hungry. I've had to avoid a lot of things in my life because of it, because it's hard to stay within the confines of society when you feel like acting out. You know, if I was indelible today, if I could do anything I wanted today without the repercussion of law, at like the snap of a fingers, I'd snap my fingers and take everything from every rich politician in Canada. Their houses, their cars, everything. Every physical object they own, I'd snap my fingers and I would have it appear distributed amongst every person making less than $2,000 a month. Because I don't care who you are or where you're from. You know, this society has made it incredibly hard to live on anything less than about 4,000. So anybody making, 4,000 or less basically, I'd want to see bumped up. And if that cost me every single possession that politicians owned, like in the world's largest yard sale and sell off of their homes, and I mean selling their homes for like 10% of the value, because that's really what they're worth. I honestly, yeah, when it comes to homes, I don't I don't see much value in this for the price and the cost and the property tax and the water tax and everything like that. Geez, these are it's like a boat, you know. toss another thousand, toss another thousand, toss another thousand. They're just a fucking liability nowadays. And trust me, if Sebri had tiny homes for rent for a nice price, I'd be on that quicker than Quick made Quick look like Quicksilver and Flash had a freaking homosexual super baby. I'd be quicker than him. You know, cheap rent, nice small. I live in one bedroom essentially, anyways. You know, I'd jump on that oh, faster than light in a blender. I don't know. I'd jump on that faster than anything that's ever been fast. You know, but we don't have that here. We have crack shacks. We have crazy landlords turning place into an 11-plex. You know, I'm not gonna rent to you or me. You're gonna rent to overseas students that don't know how to use landlord tenant board or anything like that, or make any complaints. They're just after 500 a bed. You know, so it's pretty crazy. Everything's pretty crazy. But I still don't understand. There's millions of dollars to go around for raises every year for politicians. Millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like these guys are getting like $50,000 added to their paycheck. And then they say there's no money to give us a fair shake. We're getting 4.5%, 58 fucking dollars, a slap in the fucking face. Seriously, out of all your tax dollars, the best of them that are best spent are probably on disability. I hate to say that, Ontario, but out of every single place your tax dollars go to, it's probably best spent on us. Because we're not out there doing drugs, we're not out there breaking into your car, we're not in there, selling drugs to your family, we're not out there ODing people, we're not, the more money we have, the less stupid shit we have to do to make it by. And I really don't know how to get it through everyone's heads that you don't want us all becoming homeless. You know? What's worse than the regular homeless? How about a bunch of disabled people? You know? I'm sure lots of you like to treat the homeless bad. Try doing that to people missing a leg or, people that are mentally handicapped or, let's just wait until the landslide happens. You know, let's wait until society gets so bad and disability fucks up so much here in Ontario where the landslide of disability people start dying in the winter because they're homeless and, begging for change out in front of your favorite coffee shop. I'm sure it's already starting to happen. I don't know. I don't go outside. I can't afford to go outside. The government doesn't care if I have enough clothes to travel outside in rainy weather or cold weather or, they couldn't care if I was going out there in a loincloth. They've proven that fact to me. Matter of fact, I'm now under the current thinking that maybe this is a conspiracy set forth by the Ontario government to have people on disability desire to use the MAID program to end their existence. So I should set forth some rules right now. I ain't never going to kill myself with your MAID program. I'm never going to kill myself via my own hands. I am going to be a thorn in your ass until I see a doubling of basic needs and a doubling of rent. But the basic needs doubling is much more important and should happen much, much quicker. And I mean within the next couple months. Because I am sick and tired of starving to death for 10 plus fucking days. I am sick and fucking tired of not being able to have a breakfast or a lunch. I am really tired of having to ask for handouts, especially because people don't understand my situation and the type of suffering I am in. So this has been episode 3, Truth. And it fucking hurts. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. And somebody inform the truckers that I need their help. And I think boxing political officials by closing down certain streets would be a start. Not delivering food to the grocery stores and demanding them to bring the prices back down to reality would be a start. And do whatever you truckers do, you magnificent fucking bastards.